What are the pros and cons of shared custody? Hi, I'm Bill Farias, founder of Farias Family Law. This is a question I got a couple of weeks ago. I met with a woman who is moving toward divorce. She has two little ones and she's having a difficult time figuring out what to do about the parenting time and what's in the children's best interest. The way to think about this is, first of all, to recognize that there are two different types of custody in Massachusetts. There is legal custody, which is about making the major decisions for the children. And there is physical custody, which is about where the children live, how much time the children spend with each parent. We are going to set aside legal custody. Legal custody is generally shared unless there is a good reason to award only one parent sole legal custody. The court wants both parents involved in decision making. Sometimes that's not feasible and not in the child's best interest. So in some cases, there is sole legal custody. But we're going to set that aside and we're going to focus on the parenting plan. We're going to focus on physical custody. And it's important to recognize that although this is not happening in Massachusetts, there are states in which there is a presumption of shared physical custody. So in other words, when the issue goes into the court system, it is presumed that the court will order shared physical custody equal time with each parent, unless one of the parents can convince a judge that that's not in the child's best interest. Now, that is not happening in Massachusetts, all right? So Massachusetts just tackles it case by case and figures out what's best for the children. So the benefits of shared legal custody are that if you have the right situation, and typically I would describe it as the parents live close enough to each other so that transportation is not a major burden. The parents have a reasonably amicable relationship, right? So they don't have to be best friends, but they need to be able to effectively co-parent. If they can't do that with just regular communication, then maybe they're using an app or maybe they are utilizing a parenting coordinator. But if you have this sort of combination of distance, ability to communicate, and the schedule works, then shared physical custody is optimal for children. It is in any child's best interest to have two stable and involved parents involved in the child's life, right? So that's ideal. So the pros are that if you can make this work, you are really setting yourself and actually setting your children up for an ideal arrangement. And overall, I think if parents can make this work and they get along with each other and they do what's in the child's best interest, then your child is more likely to grow up stable and psychologically balanced, and the child's overall wellness is optimized in terms of the parenting plan. So the cons are that sometimes people try to fit a square peg into a round hole. And so you have to look at these different aspects of a parenting plan, a parent's availability, the parent's work schedule, the distance. All of these things have to be considered. And if the circumstances indicate that it should really be one parent having most of the time with the children, and people try to make a shared parenting plan work for whatever reason, either ego or another common one is finances. So sometimes you'll have a parent who might be paying a ton of child support or at least exposed to a ton of child support, and they would rather have shared physical custody to lower their support amount. So if those are the primary motivators, then it may not work and it may not be in the child's best interest, right? And so if you have a parent who's genuinely interested in spending more time with the children, wants to bond with them, wants to work on effectively co-parenting, then it's great. If you have a parent with an ulterior motive, And again, that's usually either financial or ego. I'm just as much of a parent as you are, and it's not really about the child, right? That's when you're getting into the cons, and that's where there is a higher risk that this will go south and not work for the child and actually not be in the child's best interest. So it isn't always the best choice. I would say generally, if the parents can make it work and the motives are proper, then it is best for the children. If not, if you have these ulterior motives or you have a significant distance between the homes, that is another reason that this doesn't work sometimes. Is the farther apart the parties live, the harder it is to make shared physical custody work, especially when there are exchanges during the week, right? It just becomes too hectic. When you start having people and children on the road for an hour and a half, 2 hours, that just takes up a lot of time and can become very disruptive. So you have to think carefully about your specific circumstances and think about these factors, right? What is the motive? Are you living close enough? Do you have a relationship with the other parent where at least you can effectively co-parent, even if you aren't best friends? Does the schedule work? And if so, then absolutely you should pursue shared physical custody. If not, then you should reconsider. If you want to talk about this in more detail, feel free to call us, 508-675-0464. You can email us at info@fariasfamilylaw.com. If you found this video helpful, you can subscribe to our channel, share it with anyone who might benefit from it, and you can also find us on social media at Farias Family Law. Thank you. Have a good day.